guys, welcome back. Today's stretch is a focus on the hips, low back, and hamstrings. All you're going to need today is something soft to lie on and a couple of pillows, and that's it. So let's get started. We're going to start with the feet wide and just start taking some nice, easy side-to-side motion. Try to relax in the hips as you send them sideways over top of the femur bones. We're going to send the crown of the head up and try to feel really tall and relaxed. So as those hips go down and out, we're going to send that spine up. So we always want to avoid compression. So instead of pulling in and tightening, we're actually just releasing and opening the joints as we warm them up. Take some nice big circles. Good. And just relax the arms, really let them hang down nice and loose. Good. And we'll go the other way. Nice. All right, bring the feet together. And we're going to relax the left knee forward and allow the hips to release out to the right. And then the other side. So just notice as you're moving, does one side feel easier than the other? Usually we have one hip that's a little bit tighter. So just close your eyes for a moment as you're shifting the hips and just see which side feels like it needs a little bit more attention today. Good. Same as before, as you relax your hips down, just try to send the spine up nice and tall so that we're keeping the spine really open and long. Great work. Nice. All right, we're going to go back to those nice wide legs and take a little bend in the knees. I want you to really think about sending your knees out over your toes and then just bring your hands to your pelvis here. So this is going to help us understand where to put the hips. So just start with a little tuck and tilt. So this is a bit like a standing version of cat-cow. So we're going to scoop the tail under and then bring it back. I'll turn sideways for you. Keep going with these. I'm going to scoop that tail under and swing it back. So you'll notice the top of the hips roll back and then they roll forward. Nice. Especially as you take your tail back, make sure you're not contracting or tightening in your low back. You want to see if you can stay nice and relaxed through those muscles. Good. And then let's go back to those circles and we're going to try to make them a little bit bigger this time. So pressing to the side, to the back, to the side. And then especially as you go to the front, careful not to cave in with the knees. Keep them nice and wide. Good job. Nice. And we'll go the other way. Good. Really keep sending your knees out over your toes as you're circling so that those knees are safe and organized really well over top of your feet. Good job. All right. Press your feet down through the floor and take those hips up really high. So I want you to think about your hips being full of helium. We're going to try to lift them away from the floor and send your legs down and out. Good. Now keeping those hips nice and high, let's just take the right arm up and over. Good. Try to keep those hips right in the center, so we're not going to let them swing off to the side. Keep them right in the middle and just lengthen through that arm up on the diagonal. Good work. Take a nice deep breath in. And let's deepen a little bit further. Good. Coming back up. I'm going to circle that other arm over the side. And stretch out. That's it. Really keep that hip in, so we're not going to let it sink off to the side. Keep it right in the center. Great work. Nice deep breath. And exhale, reach a little further. Good work. All right, coming back up, step those feet together. We're going to do some spirals. I want you to really spread your toes out on the floor and point them forward so that we're keeping the feet really connected to the floor. They're not going to shift side to side. Okay, hips stay facing the front, and we're just going to spiral that upper back around. So even though this is a hip-focused stretch, We still need to make sure that the whole body is gently warmed up, and especially the rotation in our upper back is ready to go. That's a really important piece of releasing through the hips, is that we've got this upper part of the spine turning really freely. Nice work. All right, just let your arms wrap around you now. Little loose spiral. Good. See if you can get the top of your head a little further away from your feet. Nice work. And just let those arms relax and unwind all the way down. Good. Let's shrug the shoulders up. And then just release them down. Good. Nice work. Do a few more. Good. Try to leave your head nice and high as you relax those shoulders down. So our spine is going up and the shoulders are relaxing. One more. And let it go. Good work. All right, we're going to come to the floor. Start kneeling, hands and knees. And we'll take the fingers stretched out nice and wide to start. And find a really wide line across your chest. So try not to sink into the arms, really push the floor away. And we're going to tuck the tail underneath, flow through the spine, and around the back. Good. Now try to keep your upper body where it is. Take your tail up, then the middle back, then your upper part of your spine. So you're flowing through piece by piece. Tail goes first, sliding all the way up the spine towards the head. And then turn that tail the other way, flowing through the spine, finishing looking forward. Good work. We're going to do one more, this time starting with the head. Head goes first. Try to move through that upper back, working your way down towards your tail, finishing with that bum tucked right underneath. Good. Now starting at the head again. That's it. Up, rolling through that upper part of the spine, and then eventually letting that tail go. Great work. One more, just like that. Chin down. Move through the upper part of the spine, through the middle back, all the way to the tail. Good. Last one. Head goes first. Rib cage moving down through the waist, all the way to the tail. Great work, you guys. All right, we're going to send the top of your head forward and your tail back. Bring the toes together, widen the knees, and then just relax your hips back and stretch the fingertips forward. Good. Take a nice deep breath. And try to relax your hips a little further back. Good job. Use your fingers like a little caterpillar. Try to crawl them forward a little bit further. And sink those hips back a little bit further. Great work. All right, we're going to take the right arm and thread it underneath your left armpit, reaching forward to the front of the room. Just rest your right ear on the floor. Good. And now the back of your hand here is going to press down into the floor to help you open that top armpit towards the ceiling, rotating your spine up. Good job. Wherever you are, however much twist you have, try to maintain it and sit your hips back a little bit further. Good job. Release that right arm forward, and we'll send the left arm underneath. Same thing here. Take a nice deep breath. And we'll try to press the left hand into the floor to help open the chest a little bit further. Good. Sit your hips back. And release the left arm back. And stretch forward. Good job. All right, coming up through tabletop, bringing those knees back to neutral. Nice, and just sitting back. Good job. All right, so we're gonna come sitting facing each other here, and I want you to start with your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and then we'll just relax the hands back. If you have any discomfort in your wrists, you can always go back onto your forearms here. All right, so fingers facing the back corners or down on your elbows, and we're just gonna give the hips a little bit of a scrub on the floor. So we're trying to relax the hips and just shake loose any tension. Good job. All right, now really gently, we're gonna rock the knees towards the center. I want you to try to keep both sides of your hips on the floor. So the sit bones, that's the bottom of the pelvis, you can feel them there. Try to keep them anchored down as you release the knee across. That's it. You might feel a little bit of pressure inside your hips, and that's normal because we're challenging your internal rotation, which is something that gets missed a lot. So we're turning that thigh bone to the inside. Great work. Okay, let's just take one more each side. Trying to relax the knee towards the floor instead of pushing or forcing. Just soften it down. Now we're gonna allow that hip to roll right off the floor and see if you can bring your knee forward towards me. Good work. Leaving this hand behind, lift the chest gently and you'll get a nice stretch through the front of the chest on the right. Good work. All right, I'm gonna squeeze my glutes on this right leg here and try to press my hips towards the left. Nice work. So we're starting to bring a little stretch in through the front of the hip and engaging the glutes and the hamstrings on the back of the leg. Nice. Now try to leave the knee where it is. Leave it nice and low and draw that hip backward. So you can see my knee is starting to lift. So if I pull too far with my hip, the knee will lift. So I'm just trying to leave that knee down and draw the hip back, and you'll feel a pressure right in the joint. That's it. So we're challenging that joint capsule and asking that bone to turn in the socket. Good. Release that off. And we'll just loosen it up a little bit. It's usually pretty intense, this one, but it really, really gets those hips turning well. All right, we're gonna bring that left knee forward, trying to leave the left hand behind. Nice work. All right, we're gonna lift that sternum up. Get a little stretch in the front of the left shoulder. Good, and release that down. Good, now shift your focus to the hip. We're gonna try to bring that hip around. That's it. Engaging the glutes and trying to send that hip forward. If you're finding that too intense, you can always release this hand a little bit and just come around to face the side wall. That's it. Good. So we're sending that hip forward, stretching through the front of the hip, engaging the glutes. Good. Now we're going to try to leave that knee nice and low and draw the hip straight back. That's it. So I'm trying to keep the knee really relaxed on the floor and draw the left hip backwards, back down to the mat. Nice work. It's important not to push or force this one too much because it's quite intense. It really does go right into the joint. That's it. Let's do a couple more, just rocking that hip back and then gently releasing it forward, rocking it back, releasing it forward. Nice work. All right, we're going to unwind those legs nice and easy and just rock those hips a few times. Good work. Okay. Let's bring yourself up to a nice tall seat and stretch the soles of the feet forward. Good. So this one, if it's really difficult to sit up straight, what I'd like you to do is grab a cushion or a couple of yoga blocks, get your bum up off the floor. It really helps to make sure that when you lean forward, we've got the weight on the front side of the pelvis so that you're not struggling. We don't want to be fighting against ourselves with this one. So just do a little assessment here. Sit up And if you're feeling like you're struggling and like you want to fall backwards, just grab a cushion, a couple of books work well, or some yoga blocks. Get your bum up off the floor. Even up into a chair with the legs out in front is really effective as well, just as long as you got your bum on the front edge of the seat, okay? So we're gonna flex the soles of the feet back, drawing those toes back towards you, and I want you to sit up really, really tall on those sit bones, and we'll gently try to tip the tops of the hips forward. Great work. Take a nice deep breath. And we'll just feel the spine lengthening. Think of sending your head forward and up. Beautiful. Stay right where you are. I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see that from another angle. So we're trying to take the tops of the hips and rock them forward. That's it. And then send the head forward and up. Good. I can also think of the bottom of the pelvis reaching back on the mat. Good. You'll notice I've got a little soft bend in the backs of my knees. So don't overextend the legs. I want to just leave them nice and relaxed on the floor. And we're trying to create that beautiful diagonal line from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. I want you just to shimmy your shoulders a little bit. Make sure that you've not tightened in your neck or your shoulders. Draw a few circles. Good. And just extend the top of the head forward. So I'm really using my abdominals to bring my body forward and relax through the back line. All right. Now, if your fingers are close to your feet, you can go over the tops of your feet like this, around the sides, or you can use your index and third finger around the big toe. Okay, so I'll do this bind. We're going to draw those elbows backwards towards the hips, reaching the heels forward. Good. You'll feel the resistance. I want you to measure it so it's not too intense. If you're feeling like you're dying to get out of this stretch, just back it off a little bit to the point where you feel like you can relax and breathe so it's really sustainable. If we make stretching too painful, then it's really difficult to force yourself to do the work. So if we make it feel good, then you're way more likely to come and do it more often. Good, that was a long hold, that one. Just release it off and roll on up. Great work. Okay, we're gonna come down, lying on your right side. This is a nice place to have a cushion for your head, especially if you're broad through the shoulders. It's really nice to have some support under there. So get comfy, and we'll just stack the knees up like this. I want you to make sure that your tailbone is pointing down towards your heels. It shouldn't be pointing back or tucked under. And we're going to step this top leg across. So you've probably done this one lying on your back, but I find it really effective side lying. Bottom shoulder needs to come forward a little bit, so it's really important that you're comfortable. So I want you to find a good position where you feel like there's a little bit of pressure, your foot kind of wanting to go down and the knee wanting to come up. So there's a little bit of a bind here. And then all we need to do is cuddle this knee in towards your chest. So we can get a little stretch in the back of the hips started, just like that. Take a nice deep breath. Good job. All right, now to make this a little bit more intense, we can create a little bit deeper bind. So we can draw this foot up towards the sternum, and if it's available, you can step that foot right into the crook of your elbow and then just wrap that hand around. So this is definitely one to work towards, and if it's not quite accessible yet, just use your hands on your foot, and it can be anywhere around this space in front of you. It's all going to be really effective. So just experiment with some different positions here, and you can also bind by bringing this arm through and around your foot. That's another good bind, okay? So get yourself comfortable and get that foot tucked in as close as you can. Remember, keep those sensations sensible, nothing too intense, okay? All right, so we've got that foot bound, and then we're gently gonna draw the knee into the body. And now this is the little magic piece. Try to roll this hip backward away from me. So it's as if you were gonna roll onto your back, but you're not going to let this foot move. And you'll feel that stretch build up really quickly. Just take a nice deep breath there. Good. Once more, maybe let it off for a moment. And then really try to draw your left hip back towards the floor. You can think about rolling the rib cage open as well. And then play with bringing this knee in a little bit closer. Ooh, that's a big stretch. Great work. All right, we're gonna release that off and just stretch that foot forward towards me. And open your left arm to the back. And take a nice deep breath in this lovely big stretch. If this feels too intense, just go ahead and bend the knee and allow that thigh bone to drop down. Okay, and if we keep that leg straight, we're gonna get into some of that lateral fascia. So you can use this free hand just to guide that thigh down and away from you. Good job. Try to open your left chest towards the floor. That's it, rolling open. Good job. All right, send your fingers up and your toes down. And we're going to reverse. So the arm is now forward and the toes are back. And just stretch out on that diagonal. Reach for something with your fingers and reach back with your toes. Good, you should feel your glutes working. So we just stretched them, now we want to switch them back on. And relax out, good job. All right, let's come over to the other side. Okay, so we'll take the same pattern on the second side. Make sure you're really comfy, get that pillow tucked up right into the crease of your neck. Good. All right, and we're gonna take this foot across to the front of the thigh. And just get organized here. So decide how far up you want to bring the legs to get started. And we'll just wrap around the outside of the leg and bring the knee towards your chest. Good. If you're feeling stuck, try moving your left shoulder forward a little bit so that you're lying on the back of that left shoulder. Good work. So you might find this is plenty and you don't want to go any further today, and that's okay. Stick with this stretch and just work on turning the intensity up and down by moving this thigh bone so you can draw it towards you. Feel the stretch deepen. And then give yourself a little break by releasing it off. So we tend to do a little bit better when we keep a little bit of movement so the body's relaxed instead of freezing and holding in the stretches. All right, if you're gonna go a little bit deeper, we can find that bind where we bring the foot into the crook of the elbow and then fold it up. Or you can wrap around this way, works quite nicely as well. Okay, with the free hand, you're gonna draw that knee towards your body. Good, just do a little check-in, make sure the shoulders are feeling relaxed. Good, and now let's draw that right hip backward away from the front of the room. So just as if you were gonna put your back pocket on your right side, put it on the floor. Good, we can fold that knee in a little bit more and then try to move that hip back a little bit more. Great work. Take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes and just melt into it. Great work. All right, gently release that off. You want to go nice and slow when you move out of deep stretches. Good work. And we're going to extend that leg forward and extend your left arm up and over into the back. And take a nice big spiral there. You can use the free hand just to guide that thigh bone down and away from you. Just helps to relax, help everything open up. That's it. Nice deep breath. Great work. All right, we're going to send the fingers up overhead and the toes down. Try to create as much distance as you can between your fingers and your toes. And we're going to reach on the diagonal. So you might find this is a big stretch in the front of the hip, or maybe it feels quite easy. But either way, the glutes should be working. So you want to press that thigh bone straight back and try to feel the glutes wake up. Really stretch those legs out. Lengthen your fingers away from you. And then just check that your head is still nice and relaxed into the pillow. Good job. All right. Soften that knee. And we'll push, really use your arms to help you come up so we can keep that low back nice and relaxed. All right, bring the feet around the front. And we're just gonna finish with that little forward fold again and just see how we're feeling. You might notice it feels a little bit easier to come forward now with the glutes nice and relaxed. Good work. So whether you're here or whether you're here, it doesn't matter. Just work on getting the head moving away from your tail so that you create lots of space. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to point the toes down and drop your chin down. Good. And then flex your toes up and lift your chin forward towards your toes. Good. Once more, I'll face this side. We're going to bring the toes down and the chin down. Relax the head and shoulders. Good. And then toes up, chin forward. Good work. If you want to go for that fine, go ahead and draw your elbows back towards your hips. Great work. Rolling up through the spine. Try to stack those bones up one by one. Beautiful work. All right, you guys, almost there. We're just going to finish off with some quads. So this is really important that when we stretch the hips that we address the front, the side, the back, inside, so we get all the way around that joint to really open things up. Okay, this one, if you have sensitive knees, is not going to be a good fit for you. But I will show you an option too if this doesn't feel good, okay? So I'm going to sit back with my toes together, my knees apart. It's really important that your calf muscles are right underneath your hamstrings, so we don't want to be sitting with the lower leg out. I want you to make sure that those lower legs are right underneath your thighs. Okay, we're going to reach back and just start with tented fingers, just to check in and see how it goes. If you know your body well and you know you can go right into flat hands on the floor, go for it. Nice work. All right, we're going to tuck that tail underneath and press the pubic bone forward. So I want to see those pelvises move, the tailbones go down, and the pubic bone comes up. And you'll feel that stretch in the thighs come right away. Good job. So if that feels like enough for you, just play with relaxing your hips down and then scooping your tail under. Okay? So moving back and forth between the two to help slide all those fibers around and stretch them open. If you want a little bit more, you're going to face those fingers forward towards your body. Okay, this can get quite a bit more intense in the arms and shoulders, so really make sure that you go slow and you listen to your body. We're going to scoop that tail under, and now keep the pelvis where it is. It's really important you don't release your hips as you move your body away from your knees. So think, send the top of your head away from your knees, reaching the elbows back. You can walk the hands in towards the feet a little bit. Good. If you feel any discomfort in your low back, that means the positioning is not quite right. So come out and try again. Good work. We're going to push through those arms to stand up. Great. If that is not a good fit for you for quads, I'd like you to come to standing. You can hold on to something and just bring that heel towards your bum. We can do the same thing here. Lift the pubic bone up, take the tailbone down. Okay? If you're loving the work on the floor, just keep playing with that movement of the pelvis. Good job. Go to the other side. That's it. Lifting the front of the hips really high. So we have to use those abdominals to draw the hips up. Reach the knee down. Good work. That's it. Feeling that nice long line up the front of the hips, and like that thigh bone is dropping down to the floor below you. So we're actually going to send that thigh bone down. Good work, you guys. All right, no matter where you are, if you're on your bum, come to sitting facing me. If you're standing, come back down to the floor, and we're going to stretch the legs out as wide as you can. Good. I want you to extend the tops of your arches, so really lengthen across the tops of your feet and reach your toes like they're trying to touch the sidewall. And then just like we did before, we're going to tip those hips forward. Nice work. Really send the top of the head forward and reach your sit bones back. So the very bottom of the pelvis, we're going to try to move it into the space behind. Good work. Now find a nice healthy stretch. Shouldn't be painful. Find something that feels really good. And we're just going to flex those feet. Draw the toes back towards your shins. Good. And now really make sure those toes keep pointing straight up. And you're just going to relax the body forward. And if you can come forehead to the floor or stack the hands, or you can stack them up this way. And just give yourself a moment here. 3 really nice deep breaths. Keep those toes pointing straight up. Reach the heels away. Good work. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can start shifting your body weight forward and try to separate the heels a little bit further. Good job. Settle your hips down. Send your head forward. Good. And then really use the strength of your arms to help you recover. Back up. Good job. Are you going to bring your hands under your knees and give them a little bit of support? So anytime we're in those deep stretches, we want to come out nice and slow. Thanks so much for stretching with me today, you guys. I hope you had an awesome time and your hips are feeling fantastic. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you can catch all the new videos as they come out. Have a great day. See you next time.